What's up, YouTube? S13 VQ35 Holset Mafia fans. The HX is sitting by herself or on herself or whatever. I don't know. I still didn't get to like do out those welds and stuff because I was mounting this. As you can see, my wooden brace isn't there, so I went and you can kind of see that what do you call it, that brace that I made. It looks like a bridge. So we're gonna go up closer to it, and so I drilled that hole. It was kind of off center because this piping, not this piping, but these bolt holes out there, they're kind of diagonal, and if I did, I would have to put more of a angle down there. So I kind of did it off center here, so I can kind of get without having to modify that pipe. So there, braced it. Welds, they're these started kind of getting better. Those welds were getting better for me. The bottom ones, I was whatever, fucking around. What I always do is grind that shit out, and then I'm gonna take this off and round off these edges, make it look decent, clean it up, and I'm gonna leave this tab back here just in case if something happens. It's not bothering with anything. But even so, maybe I can even, I don't know. But anyway, regardless of what, I'm leaving that there because if I do run into issues, I can always, mount from that. So, what do you call it? Like with that, like you see, like, going up, it's going to, of course, but, going down, it's not, moving much. So, I went and just, like I said, did that. She's sitting by herself. That's the clearance there. This is how she will look, from the side. I eventually want to, my son wants me to powder coat this, like, purple or pink or something, and then sand off this so these, come back polished. I don't know if I might do something crazy like that, or even like the green, but you can see it's got the clearance. Down here, there's no issues down there. So, she's pretty much ready and set to go. So, I originally, being that I was trying to be impatient and I wanted to get this. This is what I was talking about. Get in this pipe, and then I could weld on the inside of there. Let's see, like, basically that ridge. There I can clean it up and then weld. Hold on, let me move my hands. This is what it looked like. In the center there's no restriction with it, so it would have been fine. But now switch hands again. Imagine that with a V-band coming out, it's just gonna look junky, you know what I mean? So what I'm gonna do is see if I could find this V-band for this, and a male coupler, because this is a female. See this recessed ridge? The male one will split up, and then the ridge will come in and sit in there. I want to find this flange for the HX52. What other guys were doing was they were machining this down to 4 inches, because I believe this is 4 1/4. Going this down to 4 inches so you can put a 4-inch V-band like the HX40s, and then also whatever. But for some odd reason they came with this oddball size. So now I'm gonna research, see if I can find that. I'm gonna have to hit up some what do you call it? We got a guy who has he works on dump trucks and a lot of diesels. He has like a yard that he's a mechanic. So we're gonna go check him, see if I can find an HX52 flange. That'd be nice if I could find the flange, the clamp, and or even just the pipe. Even if it can come down from like 4 to 3.5, and then I'll take that 3.5 down to 3 inch and then come out. But at least it'll look decent, just like how I had on the HE, the old Holset. It was a 4-inch flange. Not basically it was actually a 4-inch like an HX40. And so I had the, you know, the right V-band, the right thing, and then it came out to here when I bought it from the guy. He ended up cutting it from his pipe because he needed to keep his other half for his downpipe. So what I ended up doing was buying a 4" to 3.5" reducer. So that went there, then it went smaller, and then from that 3.5" reducer, I didn't buy a actual another reducer. What I did was I made slits, like 4 slits in it, and then flared it down onto the 3" and then just welded, you know, filled up the material on the 3". So, you know, basically there's like a valley like that, and then I just filled up the material, and it worked fine. And then, you know, you guys didn't really see it because I wrapped it, which I plan on doing with this, you know, wrapping with exhaust. But yeah, so, you know, this is basically where, you know, she's at. Hopefully I can find that V-band and get that going, because once I get that and then I finish off with my exhaust coming out the back, like, now I think all the hard work is done, you know, because this, you know, well, this is going to be a little bit of journey. Once I get that, then it's just straight 3", a 90 degree, you know, and I'll come out, you know, I might drop down a little bit so then I can come and then pass through here, because I still got, you know, this up pipe, you know, coming from, you know, down here in this frame rail. But like I said, this pipe's got to go, and, you know, hopefully I can get like the throttle body, you know, somewhere down here, what I'm envisioning, because even, you know, look at this throttle cable, how far it is. But I could, you know, do some stuff for even inside the car by the what's that thing called, by the throttle, you know, foot. I can cut it, shorten it, and then still have this up front. Maybe I can even just get a whole new throttle cable. There's, you know, so many different ways to go about it. But that's, you know, my main thing, like I said, is buy a flange for that 3" piping, come all the way. You know, I'll try coming like as far things so I can get clearance if I need to work on any of that. But even though that's gonna be basically one solid pipe, and then I'll do the same thing like how I did that mounting, is wherever the throttle body is, even if I put throttle body, I can come and put like even these two, since the throttle body is not heavy, I can go off of the M8s. So this is a M10 head, metric, you know, 10 mil head, and then this is the actual shaft is an M8. In case you guys, you know, ever need to go and get bolts, you'll start figuring out that basically a lot of the times if it's a like a, you know, 12 millimeter socket, that is probably an M10 you know, bolt. But anyhow, rambling on. So once I get that, I come over here, then so I gotta get my Q45. For this, it's gonna be VQ, you know, 350Z flange going to a 3" aluminum pipe. Then that 3" aluminum pipe is gonna come to a Q45 flange, and then my Q45 throttle will, I'm planning, you know, like seeing it somewhere here. And I've been thinking, you know, like about heat and stuff. So maybe I might, you know, build like a heat shield that kind of goes and it keeps it trapped in there, and then hopefully with the air passing through, it'll pull it all out, you know, the back. But trying to keep it so I don't get no heat soak on those pipes. You know, that's always an issue that, you know, we run into with underheat, you know, heat cars. Then after that, I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do about the hood for it closing. That's the other thing. You know, like, let me see, yeah, so it's right there. The only thing, if this guy were to hit, which, you know, I kind of doubt, but yeah, if it was to just, you know, trim like the skeleton there or do whatever, or if not, I just put a little slit on, open up on top of the hood for it to pass through, and then that could be like another way of cooling. But I don't really like that for a street car because of water and shit. But all right, I've been rambling, but as you can see, it's coming together. I'm having a vision. I don't know if any of you guys were kind of thinking like, oh, why is this guy going to use the stock manifolds and, you know, whatever. But, you know, like I said, it's two passenger side manifolds, one straighting out the back, coming out the front, and then this one's joining up. And then, you know, the other thing I started thinking about was, is this pipe too big for, you know, what's that thing called? Lord. Oh, you know, like for boosting. Am I going to have, like, you know, spooling lag or whatever? I don't know. I was reading a lot of small block Chevy guys and whatnot. They're talking about, one guy was talking about going with a T, you know, 3-inch to a T6, and they're like, oh, well, this guy, you know, he has like, you know, two and a half inch pipes going into in his spool as well. Because one guy was actually talking about going 3-inch pipes into a T6. But you know, I've been just thinking, you know, contemplating this in my head, because the whole thing with STS turbos, you know, the rear mount system turbos, those things, like you can see one guy, you know, he was building boosts. He had like full boost by 3000. I don't know what size, you know, turbo he had. I can't remember. But the thing with this is, okay, I might get some lag, and if I do, that's actually kind of fine, because I'm good with lag in terms of street driven cars. Now you guys might, you know, counteract with me, but that's what the you know, like either a bigger turbo or a different intake manifold that doesn't have that much torque, or, you know, different things to that nature. I do like the lag, because I don't want to be driving on the street and it's just like, it's, you know, kind of quick boosting. Because then what the lag does in terms for me was, it helped me get traction. You know, with the KA, and I had the stock manifold on, the longer runner twos meant more low down torque. I would just spin, you know, and I couldn't hook, and that was not with no Holset or anything. And then when I switched over to the what do you call it, the excessive Godspeed fake one, I lost my torque, but then I gained it back on top. So I rather have a little bit of lag so I can get traction on the bottom, but then when I go to, you know, on top, it's gonna breathe more. You know, there's gonna be no restriction on the motor. It's gonna breathe just fine. And that was one of the reasons why I kept 1 3/4 pipe coming from that side. I wanted to keep that smaller diameter pipe to keep the velocity, you know, going. You know, and yeah, but so hopefully this side could feed majority of this, and then, you know, that. But with this guy sitting so far away, you know, and same thing with like with the STS turbos, is that it doesn't see the what do you call it, the pulses of the motor. It's just like constant, you know, feed of air. So besides that, I'm just waiting to see what's gonna happen, like, you know, lag, or am I gonna get good, you know, spool and all that jazz. But it should be fine, it should be good. But regardless of what, this is my baby, you know, and I'm having a fun time, you know, building this, you know, just planning everything out in my head, and then just seeing the results. Because, you know, with this guy, you know, sitting, it's supporting its own weight and doing all that. It's just sweet. So all right, guys, I'll talk to you later. Bye.